updates on your number one business radio, Broad Street Radio. This morning, the 28th day of the month of July 2021. The following are the headlines for the news update this morning. Presidency staff take oath of secrecy, get serious warning. Lai Mohammed reveals those sponsoring secession agitations in Nigeria. Federal government shuts section of Lagos Shagamu Expressway. Atiku is eligible to vie for presidency, Adamawa government tells court. And in business, NGX bears return as market sheds 24 billion naira post MPC. Federal government bans sale of forex to BDC's operators. AFCFTA, Nigeria needs standard products to compete favorably. This is coming from Standard Organization of Nigeria, Yobe, to tax 5 million cows and goats. And in sports, Tokyo Olympics, Nigeria's the Tigers lose to Germany. Good morning, welcome to the news update from your number one business radio, Broad Street Radio, in association with Automedics Auto Care Limited, Ajao Estate Branch, and Dependable Securities Limited. I am Otusi James Chuku, and here are the news in full. The presidency has administered an oath of secrecy on staff members and threatened severe sanctions on them if they reveal any unauthorized information. The Permanent Secretary State House, Tijani Umar, on Tuesday in Abuja warned the affected members of staff that disobedience will attract penalties as prescribed under the Public Service Rules. The administration of the oath of secrecy and declaration of secrecy was performed on the staff members by Justice Hamza Muazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court. Broad Street Radio understands. The Permanent Secretary explained that the oaths were administered to staff members who handle classified documents. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has alleged that some Nigerians living outside the country are responsible for financing agitators and their activities in Nigeria. The minister made the submission on Tuesday when he played host to members of Nigerians in the Diaspora Organization, United Kingdom chapter in Abuja. He said the agitators are receiving major backings against the government by Nigerians residing outside the country. Mohammed, however, observed that the narratives being peddled by the agitators and their sponsors are not true, therefore urging Nigerians in diaspora to help in tackling the false narratives. President Muhammadu Buhari has been asked by an Islamic cleric, Ahmad Gumi, to resign over the insecurity challenges in the country. The cleric in a video noted that the same advice he gave to former President Goodluck Jonathan is the same he would give to President Buhari. Gumi made this call while addressing a Muslim gathering. The cleric noted that he has two options, either which to apologize to Jonathan or to ask Buhari to resign. He said he was not left with a third option, insisting that Buhari should resign for not tackling insecurity. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has revealed that President Muhammadu Buhari administration is focused on ensuring an enabling environment for robust media practice in the country. The minister stated this in his speech at the opening of the two-day 2021 edition of the annual Roundtable on Cultural Orientation, ARTCO, by the National Institute of Cultural Orientation, NICO. According to Mohammed, the Buhari-led administration has no plan of muzzling the Nigerian media. The minister stated this while reacting to controversies that have trailed the regulatory directives this government has churned out. He stressed that the incumbent government's position on the regulation was in furtherance of national interest, which was in line with global best practices. The federal government on Tuesday announced traffic diversion on the Lagos-Shagamu axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway for 72 hours to enable the contractor install a bridge beam. The government, as a result, has urged motorists plying that axis to consider using alternative routes or be ready to follow the diversion guidelines. This disclosure was made by the Federal Controller of Works, Lagos State, Engineer Kayode Bopola, who said the 3-day diversion would last between Wednesday, July 28th and Friday, July 30th. The Adamawa government has told a federal high court in Abuja that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was eligible to vie for the office of the president. The Attorney General of Adamawa, Afraimu Jingi, told Justice Inyang Ekwo while moving a motion on notice, seeking to be joined in the suit filed by a group against Atiku and 3 others. The group, an incorporated trustees of Egalitarian Mission for Africa, EMA, in a suit marked FHC ABJ CS 177-2019, has sued Atiku, People's Democratic Party, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), and Attorney General of the Federation as first to 4th respondents, respectively. EMA is challenging Atiku's eligibility to contest for presidency on the grounds that he was not a Nigerian citizen by birth. Business news in a jiffy. Sentiments on the domestic bourse turned negative on Tuesday to halt the 5 consecutive days of gain as the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) held all policy parameters unchanged. Specifically, the all-share index lost 46.93 points or 0.12% to close at 38,802.15 from the 38,849.08 recorded on Monday. Consequently, the month-to-date gain moderated to 2.4%, while the year-to-date loss increased to 3.7%. Also, market capitalization, which opened at 20.240 trillion naira, shed 24 billion naira or 0.12% to close at 20.216 trillion naira. The downturn was due to investors' sell-off sentiment in some bellwether stocks as the market awaited the release of more half-year results of listed companies. The Monetary Policy Committee (MPC) concluded its 2-day policy meeting and voted to leave all policy parameters unchanged. Accordingly, the benchmark interest rate (MPR) was maintained at 11.50%. A symmetric corridor remained at plus 100 over minus 700 BPS around the MPR. The cash reserve ratio (CRR) was held at 27.50%, and the liquidity ratio was retained at 30%. The market loss was driven by price depreciation in large and medium capitalized stocks, amongst which are MTN Nigeria Communications, UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust, Africa Prudential, Unilever Nigeria, and International Breweries. The market closed at par with 20 gainers as against 20 losers. Owando recorded the highest price gain of 9.86% to close at 4.79 naira per share. Champion Breweries followed with a gain of 9% to close at 2 naira 30 kobo, while FTN Cocoa Processors went up by 8.89% to close at 49 kobo per share. Fistin Healthcare rose by 6.73% to close at 6 naira 50 kobo, while Livestock Feeds gained 6.73% to close at 2 naira 29 kobo per share. On the other hand, UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust led the losers chart by 6.67% to close at 5 naira 60 kobo per share. Unity Bank followed with a decline of 6.45% to close at 58 kobo, while NPF Microfinance Bank lost 5.29% to close at 1 naira 61 kobo per share. UACN Property Development Company UPDC lost 5.19% to close at 1 naira 28 kobo, while Chams shared 4.76% to close at 20 kobo per share. The total volume of trades decreased by 1.41% to close to 243.08 million units valued at 1.89 billion naira exchanged in 4,326 deals. This was in contrast with 246.56 million shares worth 2.24 billion naira traded in 4,676 deals on Monday. Transactions in the shares of Access Bank topped the activity chart with 21.77 million shares valued at 204.44 million naira. Wema Bank followed with 21.29 million shares worth 17.86 million naira, while UPDC traded 14.55 million shares valued at 18.27 million naira. UACN traded 14.42 million shares worth 162.19 million naira, while United Bank for Africa transacted 12.61 million shares worth 99.08 million naira. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced the sale of foreign exchange forex to Bureau de Change BDC's operators in the country. Speaking at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja on Tuesday, the governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, accused the BDC operators of facilitating graft and corruption in the country. Emefiele noted that the operators are making efforts to dollarize the Nigerian economy and have become a conduit for illegal financial flows. The Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, on Tuesday said that the country needed to produce products that meet international standards to enable her compete favorably on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFCFTA. The Director General DG of SON, Malam Farouk Salim, and this at the SON's capacity building workshop for journalists in Lagos with the team. Improved synergy to promote standardization. Salim urged journalists to always report issues as they were, as their reportage would either make or mar the country. He added that everyone should be vigilant so as not to patronize substandard goods, because the impressions that will be formed from such would not be profitable for the country. He said the collective efforts would ensure substandard goods were not in the market. He added that they had met with traders in markets like Alaba and Ladipo, and that the outcome of such meetings of some of the associations was beginning to yield fruits. Salim noted that the Standard Organization of Nigeria had made some changes in the past 1 year to ensure that things moved smoothly for the country. A team of the Surveillance, Investigation and Monitoring SIM unit of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, has uncovered a lubricant or adulterating syndicate at 25 Isoko Street, Sunny Bus Stop, Ojo, in the Alaba International Market area of Lagos State. The sting operation swooped on the location and arrested a primary suspect, Chizoba Emmanuel, who was found on the premises with various drums of base oil and empty drums used to mix and repackage the substandard lubricants. Malam Farouk Salim, Director General of Standard Organization of Nigeria, described the discovery as shocking, stating that it was a wake-up call for Nigerians and particularly the organization. Salim, who was represented by the coordinator SIM unit, Mr. Suleiman Issa, said that the Standard Organization of Nigeria would continue to live up to its responsibilities in spite of activities of unscrupulous persons bent on cheating Nigerians. According to him, despite Son's several arrests in the past, deviant Nigerians still persist in the act of adulterating engine oil and selling to unsuspecting Nigerians. Salim advised importers and local manufacturers to always uphold international best practices in all their undertakings for a vibrant economy through strengthening of businesses. He gave the assurance that SON would continue to intensify efforts to apprehend criminals perpetuating such acts through discreet information gathering and arrests. The Yobe government says it will tax 5.7 million cows, goats, poultry and other animals under the newly introduced livestock tax. On July 15, the government said it introduced cattle tax to boost the state's internally generated revenues. The decision to introduce the cattle tax followed Executive Order Number 3, recently signed by Governor Mai Malabuni. Idris Madaki, Yobe Advisory Committee for Collection of Livestock Tax Secretary, said the government was targeting over 5.7 million livestock, including cattle, camels, horses, donkeys, sheep, and goats. Under the program, a cow, a camel, and a horse would be taxed 500 naira per annum. 200 naira is the levy for a donkey. A goat or sheep would be taxed 100 naira each, he explained. Mr. Madaki, also the Yobe Pilot Livestock Development Program Manager, added that the government had mandated traditional rulers to collect the taxes and remit them to its coffers. According to him, the traditional institutions will use their internal mechanisms and local structures to ensure compliance. Baba Wali, the secretary to the state government at a recent sensitization exercise, noted that the tax would also migrate farmer-header violent clashes. Sports news in a jiffy. Nigeria's the Tigers lose 92-99 to Germany in their second Group B match of the preliminary round of the basketball competition. The game started with the Tigers looking the sharper of the two teams, racing to a 4-0 lead. However, the resilient Australians came back at 4-4 for a ding-dong affair from then on. The Nigerians, led by Miami Heat point guard Gabe Vincent, were impressive, matching the Boomers for strength as they tied the game 23-23 at the end of the quarter. The Tigers were off to a quick start yet again in the second quarter with a three-pointer to make it 26-23 and could have stretched their lead a little further. But the young and inexperienced Nigerian team were guilty of not taking advantage of their too many turnovers, including poor transition and staying poor at the free throw line. Both teams will finish their round-robin Group B schedules on Saturday. Nigeria faces Italy and Germany takes on Australia. This is the news update from your number one business radio, Broad Street Radio, in association with Automedics Auto Care Limited, Ajao Estate Branch, and Dependable Securities Limited. But before I go, a recap of the major stories. Federal government shuts section of Lagos Shagamu Expressway. Atiku is eligible to vie for presidency, Adamawa government tells court. And in business, NGX BS return as market sheds 24 billion naira post MPC. Federal government bans sale of forex to BDC's operators. AFCFTA, Nigeria needs standard products to compete favorably. This is coming from the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON. Yobe to tax 5 million cows and goats. And in sports, Tokyo Olympics, Nigeria's The Tigers lose to Germany. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's still Broad Street Radio, your number one business radio, and I am Otusi James Chuku. And up next is the newspaper review with Semo Sinachi and Eze at 8:30 a.m. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.